We have the live chat there. Okay. We are going live. I think we're live. Yep, we are live. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another weekly live stream. I feel like I'm getting worse at this because I'm always late getting set up. But let me talk about my typical spiel here. Thank you guys for tuning in. Just a reminder, I typically poll questions from a Google form that is linked in the description below. So if you have any future questions that you want me to answer, make sure you submit them to that Google form below. Those will always take top priority, followed by any comments I get on YouTube, which actually most of them are going to come from YouTube today. With that said, let's go ahead and jump in and get started. The first question here was actually submitted, I think, last week during the live stream. This one is from Alina. Alina's from Houston, and this question is about pharmacy informatics. Okay, let's see. I should mention, if you guys have any questions who are in the live stream, feel free to leave it in the live chat and I'll go ahead and address it as time goes on. All right, so the first question is about pharmacy informatics, and Alina says, do you need a tech background to be a good informatics pharmacist or land a job? So yes and no. I think in general, this is kind of a loaded question. So I would say no to having a tech background to being a good informatics pharmacist, because a lot of the individuals I work with actually do not have a tech background and don't come from a tech background. If you have a tech background, that doesn't necessarily mean you'll be a great informatics pharmacist either. So I feel like I say it all the time, but to be a good informatics pharmacist, in my opinion, means you would be a really good pharmacist to begin with. You know, informatics is a specialization of pharmacy. So to be good at pharmacy informatics, you have to be first good at pharmacy. So knowing pharmacy workflows, pharmacy practice, having practice as a pharmacist, having that experience is more important than having a tech background. Of course, having a tech background will certainly make you, relatively better than someone. Oh, I shouldn't say that. It can be of benefit, but it's definitely not a requirement, and it doesn't mean that you would be a bad informatics pharmacist if you didn't have one. I usually say that it's helpful to have some knowledge of it, and I think any type of position you get into related to pharmacy informatics, you'll be exposed to some technical elements anyways. So definitely not a requirement. Landing a job, for the most part, I would also say no. Because a lot of the jobs out there aren't very focused on the technical skills. There's definitely certainly some jobs that are, but not all. It just depends on the job. But for the most part, landing a job, this is kind of a yes or no question. Landing a job, do you need a tech background? The answer is no. Some positions it will help, but for the most part, no. The next question is, do you still think the pharmacy market is saturated, or COVID has helped with creating more jobs? I feel like I might have answered a similar question in the past. So I guess maybe I'll share a couple points. The first point about the pharmacy job market being saturated. Yes, I absolutely think the pharmacy job market is saturated, and it probably will be for quite some time. I think in the video that I did where I researched the trajectory of the pharmacy job market, it would appear to me that the supply of pharmacists coming in, coupled with technology and coupled with the decreasing number of jobs primarily being cut from the retail sector, is going to cause a net decrease in pharmacy jobs for the next few years, at least. Now, has COVID helped with creating more jobs? I think it has. And if anything, I think that the COVID created jobs have helped offset some of the losses we have seen so far. But I am 100% certain that a lot of pharmacists right now are still struggling with the job market, despite the number of jobs COVID may have created. And COVID, I think anyone would guess, like the state that we're in right now is likely not going to be a permanent state. Of course, we can't predict the future. My personal opinion is just that COVID would not be like what it is right now, where everything is just shut down. Vaccines are coming out, things are reopening. So I think, if anything, when you're speaking about pharmacy job market related to COVID, it's probably just a short-term thing and not a long-term thing. So net overall, in the long term, the pharmacy job market is probably still saturated. So those were the first two questions. I have a couple other questions from YouTube. We have some in the live chat as well. So let's take a couple from the live chat, and then we'll switch over to the YouTube comments. So the first question, let's see, Aksa says, "Hello, Brian. What's going on?" Hello back to you. "I still have not received any response from Johns Hopkins. My hopes are dying. I only applied at Hopkins for MPH. I'm curious. Why don't you reach out to the admissions office to see what they say? I don't know if they are just slower right now because of, COVID. But until you hear that rejection, it's also rolling admissions. So some people are also rejecting Hopkins, and when they reject Hopkins, seats open up, and then they're probably contacting you. So at least it wasn't an immediate rejection, but I would suggest reaching out to the admissions office to see what they say. And hopefully it's good news. Mohammed, what's up, Mohammed? He says, "Hi, I wanted to ask you regarding BCPS certification. What would you recommend on how to prepare for it when I'm eligible to take it?" So I think BCPS is not easy. I think the most common method of preparation for BCPS that everyone usually goes through is ACCP. If you go ahead and Google ACCP and BCPS preparation, there's like a ton of stuff out there. You pretty much get like a big binder of like a big book that ACCP gives you, and it goes through everything. If you go through all of that content and just listening to some of my colleagues who've studied for it, usually they study over months to 1 year using that material, and then they take the exam. I would say that's usually the best way of studying for it. The way I studied for it, and something I would not recommend to anyone, it was just my own personal experience, is that I think a lot of people who have done residencies, like, you're so fresh with that knowledge that I think that you can omit some of the patient care content from BCPS, which is what I kind of did, because I just did not have time to study for it. So what I did, I just finished 2 years of residency. I did not study anything related to patient care, and I only studied statistics and then like other parts that were non-patient care, like government organizations, quality, things like that. And I also did ASHP's recertification module, which was like 16 hours of CE. So I did that, and then I also did a 2-hour lecture using ACCP's material just on statistics. So I did that. I think the total hours was about 24 hours, and that's how much I studied for it. I barely passed. I would not recommend that. I would strongly suggest going the ACCP route and using that. That's the best way, I would say. Zach Kim says, "Hey Brian, I don't have a question, but just wanted to thank you for your videos. I recently matched to my first choice for PGY1 for next year, and your videos were a great help with applying." Hey Zach, that is super awesome news. Congratulations to you, first of all. I think I don't really know what to say when someone has a positive reaction sometimes. I'm just really happy for you. I'm glad you got your number one choice. Residency is an amazing experience. I wish you the best of luck in it. Work hard, and then keep me posted on where you end up afterwards. Mohammed says thank you. Okay, let's move on to YouTube comments. We have quite a few. I've been a little busy lately, so I have not been able to respond to some of these comments, but let's get through some of them. Let's see. So the first question here, let me actually switch over. This is so hard to see. the first question here is, where is it? Helping people. I think I like messed up these questions. Oh, there's a question related to the phase 2 letter of intent. So HZ asked, can you tell me how should we address the phase 1 result in the phase 2 LOI? I don't know how many people will even find this or my thoughts beneficial at this point, because I just heard that phase 2 ranks end tonight or tomorrow. But if you are still editing your LOIs at this time for phase 2, personally, I would not have changed anything to address phase 1. I probably would have submitted, and actually I did submit the same letter of intent in phase 2 as I did in phase 1. There's nothing that changed. Ideally, your letter of intent should have addressed what you look for in a program, your goals, your credentials, your qualifications, things like that. So not matching in phase 1, I don't think is really that pertinent. They kind of already know that you didn't match in phase 1. So I don't think it's necessary. I wouldn't have modified anything to address phase 1. Next question. This is, someone asked a question about one of my videos related to EPIC certification. They said, what's the pay range? I'm a medical technologist and I'm wondering if a change will make financial sense. So that's a very difficult question to answer, because in the video I talk about EPIC certification training. I'm fairly certain I didn't talk about pharmacy specifically. So within the world of EPIC, or if anything, within the world of healthcare, the pay ranges are very different. So if I were to just say pharmacy informatics, people who are certified in EPIC, it's not that much different than the typical pay range for pharmacists, I would say, which on average, the median salary is like about $120,000. That data is probably a bit lagging because that's from BLS. But anecdotally speaking, with my colleagues who are in pharmacy informatics, the pay range for both pharmacy technicians and pharmacists who work in informatics typically range between $70 to $150 an hour. And then, again, this question was for any EPIC certification. Some people, if you're not healthcare trained, you might be like a revenue analyst or a scheduling analyst or something like that. And the pay ranges I've seen there is like between $50,000 to $70,000. It is very variable depending on what area you're looking for. And I don't even know what medical technologists do, to be honest. And I don't know what EPIC certification you would get. But I think the EPIC certification itself would probably be a better indicator of what the pay ranges would be. So if you have a specific EPIC certification you're interested in, let me know, and then I'll see if I find anything on that. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Let's see. So this one is about nursing informatics, which, by the way, if anyone here is interested in nursing informatics, I'm trying to get together some more people to interview for nursing informatics, because apparently there's a huge number of you who are subscribed to my channel that are interested in nursing informatics. So hopefully I'll get more of that content soon. So anyways, this question is related to nursing informatics. Lily asked this question, and she says, this is definitely my dream job. I find myself doing pretty good at computer documentation or hospital systems, as I used to be an auditor. Do you have any recommendations for new grads without much experience in the field? And should I start as a bedside nurse first? So despite me having content about nursing informatics, I am not an expert, nor am I probably qualified to speak much on nursing informatics aside from my own personal observations and interactions with other informaticians in nursing. But I'll try my best to answer that with that disclaimer. Recommendations for new grads without much experience. Informatics in any capacity. If you're trying to work in informatics, I would always suggest getting some type of hands-on practice experience in that field. So in this case, for nursing, it kind of goes with your second question. Should I start as a bedside nurse first? I would suggest yes. And I think the other nursing informatics video I did with the panel, I think all three of them suggested that some work experience is beneficial. Because just like pharmacy, just like nursing, and just like some of the other areas I've worked in, if you're going to design the tools for people in this particular area, so nursing, it would probably be most beneficial if you're familiar with how they do their work, how they practice, and having worked in that area to design those tools. It just makes you more knowledgeable. Like you understand the barriers, what works, what doesn't, and you can really design better tools if you've done that first. So always suggest getting some experience first. So any recommendations for new grads? 100% just go get experience first, because I don't think individuals who have no experience or very little experience end up doing very well going right into informatics, because then you're just IT, and that's not what you want to be. You want to be a hybrid, IT and clinical. Okay, so let's see. We have another question. This one's about pharmacy informatics. I think this one's about masters. So this was on my video about pursuing pharmacy informatics over engineering. I don't know how many of you guys know that out there. I was originally a computer engineer track up until college when I switched to pharmacy. So I made a video about that in the past. And this one's asked by Aryan Sharma. So Aryan says, is it okay to pursue a MS in pharmacy informatics in 2021? Could I get a job in IT or software company as a what? As a MS in pharmacy informatics. I don't even think a MS in pharmacy informatics exists. I don't even think a BS in pharmacy informatics exists. So I'm not really sure what the exact question is here. The typical pathway, or the most formalized pathway to pharmacy informatics, is doing pharmacy school to get your PharmD, followed by 2 years of residency with your second year in pharmacy informatics. So a PGY2 in pharmacy informatics. That's the most formal way. Other than that, some people get masters in like healthcare informatics, health information management, healthcare informatics, bioinformatics, like some type of informatics field. But there's no, actually, you know what? I probably should never say no, because maybe there is. Let's see. Pharmacy informatics, MS. MS health informatics, PharmD, MS health informatics. So there's not one that I see right now. Most of them I see are masters in some type of informatics. It could be health informatics, bioinformatics, health information management. There's none in pharmacy informatics that I can see from a quick Google search. So I'm glad I didn't like spread misinformation there. Otherwise, a lot of people just go into it through their network, or through a project, or through their current company, like a hospital, something like that. And could you get a job or IT? So that's your second question. Can you get a job in IT or software company? Probably irrelevant of a question, because the MS in pharmacy informatics doesn't exist at this time. But if you have a master's in health informatics, you can probably get a job somewhere. Hopefully that answered the question. Let's see. Next question is, this is more of a comment. This is a very interesting one. Kind of curious what you guys think. I remember seeing this the other day. This one was on my video about how I learned to be humble after not matching into a pharmacy residency. And this is from Spurs fan. And they say, as somebody who applied to over 400 plus programs for the medicine match, I found your 7 program list kind of cute. I don't really know what to say to that, aside from maybe two things. One, medicine match and pharmacy match is probably apples to oranges. And then two, saying that you applied to 400 plus programs and using the word cute almost sounds passive aggressive, but do you? Next question. The heck? Anyways, next question is on the pharmacy residency match day video I did, the most recent one I did on 2021. And this one's from Angel X Baby 88. I think I actually got a couple of questions from this individual. Sorry I have not responded. It's just been a really busy couple of weeks. But Angel says, thank you for this. After you match, do you take the NAPLEX before starting residency? And what happens if you don't pass? So this is a great question. And I think there's a lot of people that ask this question. So do you take the NAPLEX before starting residency? Yes, you do. Although some people may end up blurring the lines a little bit, you may end up starting residency before you've taken the NAPLEX. It just depends on your states, the scheduling of the tests, which last year with COVID, it was like horrendous. But I'm trying to think back. It's been a while now. So I graduated in May, and then I started residency at the end of June. I was studying for my NAPLEX, I think, April and May. And I think that I took my NAPLEX before I started residency. And I think I found out. I have a video on it, actually. I think I found out either when I started or right before I started. I think it just kind of depends on your program. But ideally, schedule it as soon as you can, which is usually right after you graduate, as there's spots available. As soon as you can. You just do not want to start residency with having to study and balance all of this. It gets very stressful right in the beginning of residency. What happens if you don't pass? So that's a big part. I remember one of the things that we used to always say when we're starting residency or we're passing down tips to other people who are just starting is that, one, schedule your exams as soon as possible. There's a lot of my friends and people I knew that got kicked out of residency because they did not take their exams in time after they matched. There's like some period, it depends on the contract. I don't know if it was the same from organization to organization or if it was like an ASHP policy, but there's something in the contract where if you do not get licensed, which is both your NAPLEX and MPJE, by a certain time, you're kicked out of the program. So one of the best tips was always schedule it as soon as possible, take it as soon as possible, and do that. Now, for NAPLEX and MPJE, usually it's not cool to fail the NAPLEX because I think the waiting period for that to retake it again was like 3 months. I don't remember the exact time period, but when I was doing it, if you failed the NAPLEX, I believe you were kind of done because you couldn't. Usually the 3 months turnaround time was longer than what was stated in your contract, so you would just get let go from the policy. The MPJE is different because you can usually retake that depending on state law. I actually failed the MPJE, by the way. I don't know if anyone knew that, but I failed the MPJE when I went to my PGY2, and I failed it, and I had to retake it within, I think, 2 or 3 weeks or something like that. You have to go through, depends on the state, you have to go through like some applications and stuff like that to reapply. So do not fail your NAPLEX. That's like in my opinion, you're gonna get kicked out. MPJE is different. Usually you have like second chances and stuff like that. So next question. We have 4 more minutes on the live stream and we're gonna hop off. Next question is from Stanley on a video about EPIC certifications. So Stanley says, I am a beginner, a starter, and a newbie to this epic certification. You must be a gamer to use the word newbie. Must I be a programmer to be able to achieve the epic certification? I am not a programmer, hence my question. So no, you do not have to be a programmer. Many people, I believe, are not. Actually, I shouldn't even say that. I have no idea. The majority of people I know that got Epic certified in anything do not have a programming experience or programming background. So I guess that's a simple answer. No, you don't need to be a programmer. Okay. Man, the live chat is quiet today. Why is everyone so quiet? Hey, by the way, for those of you guys who are in the live stream, if you could do me a favor and just give the video a like, that would be awesome. And if anything, I'm always trying to get to know you guys more. I have no idea who watches these videos, by the way. It's just, I see 8 people. I have no idea who you are. If you feel so inclined, feel free to drop your name, if you're in pharmacy or not. Let me know where you're from. I would love to get to know you guys more as well. I'm trying to do that. It's the purpose of the live stream. I'm trying to get to know you guys too. I don't want to just talk to you. Okay, so let's move on to probably 1 or 2 more questions, and it's going to be time. Let's see, the next question. This one actually is from Angel as well, who asked that earlier question. And Angel says, thank you, I missed the video. This one's about the virtual ASHP mid-year. Thank you, I missed the video. I did not know that mid-year was free in 2020. Yeah, it was pretty awesome. Big change that they did. Where can I find the list of programs that will showcase on particular days? Just on the ASHP website, it was a little different this year. Usually there's a nice list that shows all the participating programs, but in 2020 it was a very strange list. But it shouldn't matter for 2020 because the list would change from year to year. Some programs don't attend based on the geographic location of the conference for that particular year. So if you're going for 2021, I would suggest looking at the list. Where it was in 2020 wouldn't matter. And you say, I'm a 4th year pharmacy student and not sure which programs to apply to. Should I sign up for ASHP to receive information about webinars and other events? This seems like a very outdated question, but this was from a week ago. Let's see. So 4th year student, not sure which programs to apply to. That's a very hard question. Maybe I'll make a video about that one day. It's very overwhelming to decide which programs to apply to. I know personally I had over 100 programs on my list, and then I had to figure out what are the things that was most important to me. Like, did it matter if they're a trauma center? Did it matter if they had a PGY2? Did it matter if they were in a specific geographic location? Like, you have to come up with a list of things that are most important to you and then filter down your list. It is not possible to apply to so many programs. It's possible, but you're gonna stress out. But I narrowed down my list from 100 to I think maybe 50, and then I narrowed it further down to 20 from after I attended mid-year. Should I sign up for ASHP to receive information about webinars and other events? Yeah, ASHP is my bread and butter for information, a lot of pharmacy information. So I definitely encourage you to be a member, sign up for their daily briefing. I think that is one of the best ways of getting information nowadays. And it's what I used as a student, and it is what I use currently as a practitioner. I've used it for like 8 years now. It just summarizes all the news about pharmacy practice and includes things about mid-year and other pharmacy-related news. Okay, let's see. It is 9 o'clock. We do have 2 more questions. David's in the house. What's up, David? By the way, everyone, if you guys don't know David, give him a follow. I'm sure all of you guys already know David. David's like a celebrity in the pharmacy world and health tech world. But shout out to David. Go check him out if you haven't already. Brad LN New. Did you ever flex to your dates that you're a drug dealer? Who is Brad? Flex to my dates that I'm a drug dealer. I don't think so. At least not that I can recall. Maybe that's a good idea. Is that something you suggest? Anyways, guys, thank you guys for tuning in. It's 9 o'clock. Trying to keep these at 30 minutes. So I will see you all next week. Don't forget, if you have any questions you want me to answer for next week, use the Google form in the description below to leave them, and I will see you all next time. Bye, guys. Oh, Minju says hi. Hey, Minju, I hope everything is going great. I'm ending live stream, but I will see you next time. Good to hear from you. Bye, everyone.